quand on vous dit arrêtez de raconter vos vies de couple à vos copines. C'est même pas pour maxer ou pour quoi que ce soit. Arrêtez de raconter parce que, il y en a, il y a des filles qui sont faibles. Voilà, il y a des filles qui sont faibles. Vous êtes là à aller faire des éloges de votre mec. Mon gars, il me fait ci. Mon gars, il me mène au resto. Mon gars, il me donne de l'argent. Mon gars m'a acheté ci. À cause de vous-même là, vos copines là vont commencer à avoir des sentiments pour vos mecs. C'est ça. Parce que cette histoire-là, amitié de 10 ans d'amitié. Comme ça. Bestie, besta. Quand je vous dis, elles étaient tout le temps ensemble. Sarah et Emmanuel, c'était comme les deux doigts de la main. Franchement, collés, serrés, cimentés, décalés. Les deux meufs là. Faut savoir que Sarah, elle a toujours eu des facilités avec les hommes. Grave, une meuf avenante, toujours pimpante, souriante. Elle est très sociable, tu vois. Tout l'inverse de Emmanuel qui est très calme. Elle est posée. Tu vois, c'est un peu l'intello du groupe. Genre vraiment, entre les deux, vraiment, Emmanuel, c'est celle qui va vraiment réfléchir avec son cerveau, alors que Sarah, c'est plus en mode one life, tu vois. Et en fait, les deux, comme je vous ai dit, 10 ans d'amitié, elles ont fait le collège, le lycée, même les études supérieures, ensemble. Elles étaient H24 ensemble. Maintenant, il y avait un gars qu'on va appeler Jojo. Jojo, c'était un mec qui était dans leur école, mais qui était dans la promo au-dessus de Sarah et Emmanuel. Et ça veut dire que ce Jojo-là, en fait, il avait la réputation du mec qui gère toutes les go, du mec pas sérieux, etc., etc. Et sauf que Sarah, en fait, elle s'est dit, mais lui, là, il fait le mec et tout, mais moi, si je veux, je le gère, en fait. Et Emmanuel lui dit, ouais, mais il a une mauvaise réputation, c'est un vieux mec et tout le monde parle de lui en mode, c'est un mec à meuf et tout, vas-y, laisse tomber et tout, le calapa et tout. Sarah, elle dit, oh, je connais mon kata, je connais mon karaté, je veux le gérer, en fait. Et en fait, ce qu'elle a fait, elle a commencé à parler avec Jojo sur les réseaux sociaux. Et ensuite, comme ils sont dans la même école, ils se sont vus. Ils ont commencé à discuter ensemble. En fait, Sarah, elle s'est vite rendue compte qu'en fait, le mec, il avait une réputation, mais en fait, ça collait pas trop avec son image parce qu'en vrai, quand elle a commencé à parler avec lui, c'était un gars grave posé, un gars grave bon délire, tu vois. Et elle a commencé à bien kiffer le mec et tout. Donc, elle vient voir Emmanuel pour lui dire, mais en fait, en vrai, tout le monde parle de Jojo en mode c'est un mec à meuf et tout, mais en fait, quand je parle avec lui, rien à voir et tout, c'est un gars grave chill, il a de la conversation. Franchement, il est grave intéressant à creuser et tout. Et entre-temps, le flirt, là, ça aboutit à quelque chose. Il commence à se date. Jojo, grave mec capable, quoi. En mode, il prend des initiatives, il lui offre des cadeaux, il l'emmène par-ci, par-là. Et il faut savoir qu'à ce moment-là, Emmanuel n'avait pas de mec. Enfin, voilà, elle n'avait pas de mec et tout. Elle était grave à fond dans les études, etc. Et en fait, ce que Sarah, elle vivait avec Jojo, elle racontait tout à Emmanuel. Ouais, franchement, Jojo, il m'a surpris, il m'a acheté ci, il m'a acheté ça, il nous a pris des billets pour aller à Ibiza, etc. Enfin, en fait, elle racontait tout à Emmanuel, elle racontait tout à sa sœur, en fait, à sa master, en fait, elle racontait tout. Et en fait, à défaut qu'elle a commencé à raconter ce que Jojo faisait et tout, Emmanuel a commencé à être un peu distante avec Sarah. Ouais, mais toi, t'emballes pas trop. En vrai, tu le connais pas tant bien que ça et tout. Arrête de trop t'emballer et tout. Vas-y, ce mec, il a une réputation, etc. Et Sarah lui dit, mais en fait, oui, certes, il a une réputation, mais moi, je te dis que le mec, il est pas pareil. Genre, dans la vraie vie et tout, quand je le côtoie, franchement, avec moi, c'est quelqu'un d'autre. Et c'est là qu'on vous dit, là, on peut connaître le même mec là, mais le mec que j'ai connu, c'est pas le mec que t'as connu. Ah oui, parce que les mecs, ils savent avec qui il veut jouer, ils savent avec qui il veut faire du sérieux, ils savent très bien. Parce que, bizarrement, ce mec-là, il avait vraiment une réputation de vraiment mec à meuf, gars pas sérieux, mais avec Sarah, c'était tout l'inverse. Vraiment un gars responsable. Et en fait, Emmanuel, elle se disait non, le mec là, il joue un jeu et tout, il va montrer son vrai visage. C'est juste une question de temps. Ce mec, non, vas-y, il va te montrer son vrai visage. T'emballe pas trop. Et du coup, Sarah, elle s'est dit, bon, de toute façon, on verra. Moi, j'apprends à le connaître et tout. Bref. Et du coup, ça a commencé à avancer et tout. Ils ont commencé à avoir des petits problèmes de couple. Parce qu'entre-temps, ils se sont mis en couple. Hein. Ils commencent à avoir des petits problèmes de couple. Le manque de confiance de la part de Jojo vis-à-vis de Sarah. Parce que Sarah, comme je vous ai dit, une fille avenante, sociable, etc. La fille qui parle un peu avec tout le monde à l'école. Et du coup, en fait, le Jojo, il était très jaloux, très possessif, etc. Tout ça là, Sarah, elle racontait tout à Emmanuel. Maintenant, Emmanuel s'est dit, donc Jojo là, finalement, c'est un bon pain, finalement, c'est un gars responsable. Ok, moi aussi, je vais apprendre à le connaître. En gros, faut nous faire les présentations. En fait, je suis ta soeur, je dois connaître ton mec, même si je le connais de loin, parce qu'on est dans la même école, mais j'ai jamais parlé avec lui. Donc, ce que Sarah a fait, elle fait une présentation entre les deux, etc. Et en fait, entre-temps, ils ont eu des petits problèmes, Sarah et Jojo, ils se parlaient plus. Et Emmanuel elle était au courant. Et en fait, Emmanuel est parti follow le mec de Sarah, enfin Jojo du coup, sur les réseaux sociaux, sur Instagram. Elle est partie le follow et tout. Elle a commencé à écrire à Jojo. Ouais, ça va, t'es pas trop triste et tout. Sarah m'a raconté, ça va pas trop entre vous. Et si tu veux en parler, je suis là, etc. Là, vous allez vous dire, bah, peut-être c'est normal, c'est sa copine. Voilà, elle veut parler en son nom, je sais pas. Elle commence à parler avec lui. Jojo aussi, je dis, oh, elle me veut quoi? Jojo, c'est un gars. C'est un gars. Et oui, c'est un gars. Ça veut dire, il a commencé à parler avec Emmanuel. Ouais, ta copine, elle me fait des dingueries. Ta copine, elle parle avec un tel. Ta copine, elle est trop sociable, etc., etc. Du coup, en fait, eux deux, ils sont commencé à se parler. Au début, ça parlait de Sarah. Ça parle d'autre chose. Ça parle de style. Ça parle de, tu fais quoi? Viens, on va boire un verre, etc. Et tout ça, c'est Emmanuel qui propose. Sarah, elle n'était pas au courant de tout ça. Donc, Emmanuel commençait à avoir quelque chose avec Jojo. Et entre-temps, Sarah devait partir en summer school avec son école pendant 2 semaines à Miami. Et comme je vous ai dit, ils étaient en embrouille avec Jojo, elle lui a quand même dit, écoute, moi je pars pendant 2 semaines et tout. Pendant ce temps, je te laisse le temps de réfléchir. Moi aussi, de mon côté, je vais réfléchir sur la situation. Et j'espère à mon retour, on pourrait avoir une discussion et savoir ce qu'on fait. Dès qu'elle est partie à Miami, Emmanuel, elle est restée. Elle a commencé à côtoyer Jojo. Ils ont commencé à se voir, fricota, ça se date et tout ça. Emmanuel qui dit que ouais, mais en vrai, Sarah, c'est une fille bien, c'est vrai, c'est ma soeur et tout, c'est ma copine. Mais vas-y, je sais pas, elle est pas trop dedans dans la relation, elle parle avec un autre gars. Genre, elle commence à inventer des vies à sa meilleure amie, quoi. En mode, ouais, elle est pas très sérieuse et tout, mais en vrai, elle tient à toi, mais vas-y, elle parle encore à quelqu'un d'autre, etc., etc. Donc, elle-même, elle s'est mise en avant, elle commence à se vendre, en fait. Le mec, il s'est dit, oh, donc toi, tu es là, tu viens dénigrer la fille que j'aime. Ça, c'est dans sa tête, hein. Tu viens dénigrer la fille que j'aime parce que tu veux, en fait. Elle veut, et je vais lui donner. Et du coup, il s'est passé ce qui s'est passé. En gros, ils ont mougou ensemble. Sarah, elle était à Miami, hein. 2 semaines seulement. Elle est tombée enceinte de Jojo.
If breaking up with your partner breaks your trust in other people, you never were actually in love with your partner. That is attachment.
You guys know the worst part about smashing? I didn't think about the cleaning up part before I filled her. You know, there's a whole part afterwards. And you know when you're just laying in your room together thinking about what the hell do we do now? Meanwhile, she's like a Twinkie. I don't know, I looked around my room and I just couldn't see anything. In hindsight, I had a bunch of shirts and like endless options that I could have given her. Literally just anything for her to clean up a little bit. But we decided that the best thing that she could do was to go to the bathroom, which was all the way down the hall through my living room. And I don't know about you guys, but my family just stays in the living room constantly. I guess it's an older people thing to just want to watch TV all the time. But trust me, we didn't think it out. It was just the best option that we thought we had. So like, she stood up, kind of cupping down there. She managed to throw on her clothes, but dear God, it had to have been going everywhere. And then she had to do her little waddle past both of my parents. And you know, my luck, they literally noticed. Like for part 2. Do you guys know the worst part about smashing? I didn't think about the cleaning up part before I filled her. You know, there's a whole part afterwards. And you know when you're just laying in your room together thinking about what the hell do we do now? Meanwhile, she's like a Twinkie. I don't know, I looked around my room and I just couldn't see anything. In hindsight, I had a bunch of shirts and like endless options I could have given her. Literally just anything for her to clean up a little bit. But we decided that the best thing that she could do would be to go to the bathroom, which was all the way down the hall through my living room. And I don't know about you guys, but my family just stays in the living room constantly. I guess it's an older people thing to just want to watch TV all the time. But trust me, we didn't think it out. It was just the best option that we thought we had. So like, she stood up, kind of cupping down there. She managed to throw on her clothes, but dear God, it had to have been going everywhere. And then she had to do her little waddle past both of my parents. And you know, with my luck, they literally noticed. Like if you want part 2.
Storytime de la peor famosa que atendí siendo manicurista. Soy Nai, me dicen Diabla, hago uñas hace aproximadamente 6 años y la verdad es que tuve la suerte de atender pocas personas de mierda. Y resulta que hace aproximadamente 1 año y medio atendí a una cantante del underground argentino. La cuestión es que mi jefa la tenía que atender. Como ella no podía, me pidió si yo me podía quedar a atenderla. Cabe recalcar que mi horario de laburo es de 9 de la mañana a 6 de la tarde, así que yo no tomo turnos después de ese horario. Esta chica quería que la atiendan a las 7 de la tarde y como era un turno que lo tomó mi jefa, yo dije, bueno, sí, está bien. Así que yo estaba a las 7 de la tarde esperándola para atenderla y esta persona llegó a las 8 de la noche. No solo llegó a las 8 de la noche, sino que vino con un vaso de Starbucks a la mitad, o sea que estaba tomándolo en algún lado, haciendo tiempo para llegar tarde a su turno. Y no es por una pretensión mía, pero mis clientas cuando llegan tarde siempre me traen al menos un chupetín. Es la intención de decir, discúlpame, sinceramente, no quería llegar tarde. Y esta persona ni siquiera me pidió disculpas por llegar tarde a su turno, claramente porque ella, no sé, pensaba que tenía todo el derecho del mundo de llegar tarde y cagarse en el laburo y los horarios del otro. La cuestión es que yo, como persona cordial y persona que brinda un servicio a la gente, le saco tema de conversación a todos. ¿Por qué? Porque me interesa ofrecerle un servicio personalizado y hacerla sentir cómoda durante todo el servicio. Obviamente yo le intentaba sacar tema de conversación y la chica lo único que hacía era lo siguiente. Sí, no sé. Y automáticamente cuando terminaba de darme una respuesta de mierda, agarraba su celular pareciendo que quería demostrar realmente que no le interesaba hablar conmigo y hablaba con sus amigos. Sí, boludo, sos el mejor, sí, te reamo, amigo, sí, ahora nos vamos a juntar, que no sé cuánto, boludo, sí, que no sé qué. Yo estaba así. En un momento, en una de esas preguntas, le pregunto, ¿qué es lo que te inspiró a hacer música? ¿Por qué empezaste? Y ella solo me da respuestas como, no, sí, porque me gustaba, qué sé yo. Bueno, yo remándola, seguí intentando hablarle y le pregunté, ¿y cuál fue el primer género que te gustó con el que empezaste? A lo cual ella me responde lo siguiente, y el de mi primer tema. Y yo me quedé, ¿quién carajo sos para que yo sepa cuál fue tu primer tema?
¿Quiénes son?
¿Cuál fue tu primer tema, amiga? ¿A quién sos, Michael Jackson? Cuestión que siguió así el turno de mierda. Habiendo llegado una hora tarde, la chica se daba el tupete encima de decirme, Babe, ¿será que llegaremos para antes de las 9? Yo ya sacá claramente, porque encima de que estoy tratando de ser lo más cordial y educada con la que se comportó mal, que fuiste vos, ¿pretendés que me apure? A lo cual le respondo, no, la verdad, imposible. Voy a tardar lo que necesite tardar. La chica no sabía qué quería hacerse, boludeaba, decía, ay, no este, ay, bueno, no, este. No, bueno, no sé, ay, bueno, ya fue, hagamos este. Como que era algo que le pesaba. A todo esto, la chica, las veces que vino a mi local, te mira de arriba a abajo, como si fueras un pedazo de basura, porque claro, no estás a su nivel, ¿no? Se la pasa con el celular ignorándote. Ella, claro, está así. Encima, para colmo, la mina que, no sé, se hace las... Yo tengo racks, yo tengo ice, que no sé cuánto. La rata no fue capaz ni de dejar 100 pesos de propina, ¿lo podés creer? Ni 100 pesos de propina dejó. Siendo que ella no sabía si a mí me iban a pagar el canje o no. Estaba terminando y casi que no me deja sacarle fotos porque ella se estaba pidiendo el Uber. O sea, no te estoy haciendo esto porque sos la diosa del Egipto. Porque si esto es mi laburo, yo como de esto. Se iba ahí sin que yo le saque las fotos, o sea, sin darme la posibilidad a mí al menos de publicitarme a mí misma diciendo, le hice la uña esta. Porque encima, si se supone que es canje, me vas a subir a tus historias o me vas a etiquetar en las fotos que subís mostrando las uñas así. Mínimo. No me etiquetó en la publicación ni a mí ni al estudio donde yo estaba trabajando. No hizo nada. Todo el tiempo estaba interrumpiendo durante que yo estaba trabajando, mirándose. Pero hay una forma de mirar que es... Y otra forma de mirar buscando dónde cuestionar lo que estás haciendo. Llegó un punto que claramente no quise seguir hablándole directamente. Fue 100% engorroso, fue totalmente incómodo, 100% desconsiderada, miraba mal, resoplaba constantemente por el tiempo. Claramente yo no me voy a disculpar por el tiempo que me toma mi labor, mi trabajo, mi proceso para que quede bien un producto. Y nada, como no dije el nombre porque yo soy una persona que claramente soy un poco inteligente y no me quiero meter en problemas legales, no voy a decir el nombre, pero voy a decirles que su nombre artístico empieza con T y termina con Chu y se hace la trapera. Y Y habla todo así, como si todo el tiempo estuviera haciendo pucherito. Bueno, gente, si quieren más storytime como esto, me pueden seguir acá en TikTok, me pueden seguir en mi Instagram, que está anclado al perfil. Así que nada, eso. Bye.
The reason most couples argue is because you guys are both making your own assumptions about what the other person's thinking, their intentions. Oh, you probably did this because you didn't care about me. I'm gonna be honest, that's very unreasonable. Assuming that your partner has malicious motives to hurt your heart sounds like the perfect formula for you to continue your avoidant behavior, for you to choose to protect yourself, defend yourself, not be a part of this relationship.
What's something that happened to you that sounds so fake that if you were to tell people, they wouldn't believe you?
This is a story that I haven't told many people because frankly, I feel like everybody would think I'm crazy. When I was 16 years old, I went on a ski trip with my school. I live in Australia and snow is rare, so we had to go an 18-hour bus ride down south to the snow. I was with my friends, we're having a good time, we were excited to go snowboarding, but on only the second day of this trip, my entire life shifted. So because we weren't experienced in snowboarding, most of us school kids would go with the people who worked at this snow lodge, and we'd all snowboard as one big group down the slopes. Some of the courses were more easy, some of them were more difficult, really just depending on what sort of experience you had as a snowboarder. I had none, so I was snowboarding with a big group of people, but I was the person at the very back of this group. Everyone starts to turn around this big mountain. Because I'm 5 seconds behind everyone, I turn around the mountain 5 seconds later. Mind you, it's a super busy day on the snow, it's a beautiful sunny day, and there are people everywhere. And like, not just us school kids, like a lot of people. But when I turn around this big mountain, everyone is gone. Everybody who was in front of me was gone, and everybody who was skiing or snowboarding behind me was gone. Like, there were people who were not in the group I was snowboarding with, other people behind me. So once I went around this mountain, they should have followed. I should have been able to see everybody in front of me, because after I turned this mountain, it was just a straight long slope down the hill. But I was dead alone. I'm obviously instantly confused, shocked. I don't understand what's happening. I get my phone out to call my best friend who was on this ski trip with me. And I remember so distinctly, my phone was on like 75% charge. Like, it was charged. But as soon as I pressed the little circle to enter my phone, my whole screen went black and the no battery signal came up. The only way I could make sense of what happened is that everybody somehow just beat me to the bottom of this course, and everyone behind me somehow went past me without me realizing. I was just like grasping at straws. So I continued to just keep snowboarding down the hill, hoping that I'd just make it to the end. The thing is that there was no end. There was no end to this course, or whatever alternate reality course I had just jumped into. As I mentioned, I was not an experienced snowboarder, so I was trying my best to snowboard, but I kept falling over. I decided to just eventually give up, clip my snowboard off, and walk. I walked for like an hour. I was tired. I was carrying this heavy snowboard. I was walking in snow, which is just as hard as walking in sand. And after what feels like forever, I finally came to this, what looked like an abandoned ski lift. It was really dingy and old and creaky and looked scary. I thought my best chance was to get onto this ski lift so I could get up high and have a look around, hoping that maybe I'd find where the main area is, because in the main area there's like a bar and cafes and restaurants and whatever. I thought if I can see that, I know which direction to walk in and I can just make my way over there before the sun sets. But when I get onto this ski lift, there's nothing but snow and trees. And obviously I was freaking out because it was sunset, like it was about to be dark. But then I was also thinking, how the fuck did this happen? Like, I was with a group of people in a busy area, and also because I was a child and a beginner at snowboarding, obviously they took us to a course that was super close to like the main area. The fact that I'm now on this single-seater ski lift looking out 360 views and there's nothing, I didn't know, what do you even do? And it was on that ski lift I just broke down sobbing. Like, I genuinely thought I was going to die. I just wanted my mum. And this ski lift just drops me off at nowhere, like no destination, no platform, nothing. The cabin that we were staying at, the way to get to this main area to go skiing and snowboarding in was that we had to catch a shuttle bus and then an underground subway. The sunset, it's dark. You have to understand how scary it was. Because when I say dark, I mean I couldn't barely see what was in front of me. There's no city lights anywhere. Didn't have the torch on my phone to shine. Just as I was about to give up and sit down and accept what was going to happen, I saw like this glowing light in the distance. And what it led me to was like this glowing tunnel with a staircase leading down into it. And what led me to the bottom was an underground subway. How that was there, I don't know why it was there. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense for there to be a proper station there because I was in the middle of nowhere. But sure enough, the subway came and I jumped on it. And it took me to the shuttle buses and I took a shuttle bus back to the cabin. And when I walked into the cabin, all the school kids I was with, all the teachers that were there were all having like dinner together. And I was like, was no one looking for me? And everybody very nonchalantly, not in like even a rude way, were just like, oh, hey, Chloe, there you are. It was almost as if they were hearing me through a filter and they weren't grasping the gravity of what I was trying to say. I don't know. The whole thing was weird. The energy was off. For the next few days, I stayed in the cabin. I refused to leave the cabin. And then when I got home, things felt slightly off. I don't really know how to explain it, but for example, certain objects in my room were in like a different place. And it's not as if anybody in my family would have gone in and rearranged my room. I didn't feel like that's what happened. It felt as if that is where it belonged. But I knew that it was in a different spot before I left. Even just weird things like timing felt different. Everything was just slightly tweaked. When I told my sister about this story a few years later, she said to me, there probably is a timeline out there where you did get lost in the snow and quantum jumped. And she said there's probably a timeline out there where our family is grieving you, which is so scary and sad to think. But that's my story where if I told anybody, they probably wouldn't believe me.
Imagínate crecer con un papá que es un gorila. Mi padre tiene el récord del monólogo más largo en México y mi padre se volvió un gorila. Entonces yo crecí con un chango en mi casa. Claro, no, es que es verdad. Y ver a tu papá, o sea, no es como que vas con tu papá a la oficina o lo ves trabajando de que en la computadora o mi papá es abogado y entonces las leyes y me regañan. No, aquí era de que mi papá es un gorila y dudar si tu padre es un animal o no. Y entonces yo quiero hacer eso. Y entonces todo es un drama desde... Mi papá tiene una historia... Es que todo, ¿sabes? Como mi papá tiene una historia muy buena, que estaba peleando en el coche. Y yo me acuerdo que yo iba con él y él iba a ser el driver. Eso es lo que pasa cuando vives en dos lugares.
¿Quién iba conduciendo?
Y el chofer, conductor.
El que estaba conduciendo el coche.
Y el que estaba conduciendo el coche de adelante se bajó a pelearse con mi papá y mi papá, o sea, les juro, se volvió otra persona. Quiero decir, entró en personaje y me acuerdo que hizo así, como si cortara cartucho. Y yo creo que el taxista o el que lo iba manejando dijo, mierda, y agarró y yo le vi la cara de susto y se regresó a su coche. Y mi padre no tenía una pistola. Mi padre... íbamos por un helado.
Unhinged story time from one of my followers, not me. I went on a picnic date. Not with a boy, with my friends. It could have been worse, let's just say that. I was on a picnic date with my friends. The Prosecco was popping. It was great. Everything was good. My tummy started feeling dodgy, but it was fine. I carried on eating. It was all good. However, we had lots of sandwiches, one of them being prawn and mayos, which had been sitting out in the sun all day. Drinks were flowing. I was hungry. At this point in time, I absolutely did not care that they had been bathing in the sun and probably contracting salmonella as we were speaking. I ate one. Within 2 hours, my belly was going. I was thinking, that doesn't feel great. But I didn't feel sick. Not that end, let's just say. Can I just say as well, we were in the middle of a field. We were not near anywhere that we could have gone to the toilet. We got dropped off to this park, by a taxi. The only place that was closed was a village hall, which was closed. So yeah, my belly started going, wasn't feeling good. I was wearing a skirt, I was wearing a little top. I shit myself. I shit my pants. And the only thing I had was napkins, but I shit my pants. Yeah, I have not actually spoke to anybody that was on that picnic since. Don't know what else to say.
Do I have a story time for you? While we get ready, let me tell you about the event that I attended last night in LA, which was the worst experience I have had thus far. Here's the thing, every event that I've gone to, there's been of course little hiccups, human error, people get sassy, who cares? You forgive, you move on, and you still have a great time. But the injustice that happened last night, justice. That's what I'm hung up on. I got invited to an artist song release party in Hollywood. I was personally promised from his manager and the host of the night that I was given a +1. We were gonna have VIP access. There was gonna be a little red carpet before the opening act came on stage, and then the main act. The invitation was credible. We confirmed me and my +1 slot for the event. The day of the event arrives, me and my +1. I brought Megan with me. You guys know Megan. Her and I drive 3.5 hours to Hollywood because we want to support this new artist. We get into the VIP line outside the venue. We're all looking at our clocks like, we were supposed to be let in 30 minutes ago and the show's supposed to start in 15, but we're not even doing the carpet yet. We're not doing press. What's going on? A lot of people in line were already getting a little sassy, but you know, it's the beginning of the night. You don't want that to wreck it, and it's LA. Most things run late. So I was like, okay, well, it's gonna be fun when we get in. Let's just get in. Megan and I finally make it through security and everything, and then we get to the front where we hand the girl our little barcode on our phone for her to scan. She scans mine, it goes through just fine, hands me a lanyard to wear for credentials, but then when she scans Megan, it says invalid. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, it's just a glitch. Like, the manager is literally walking around. He's the one that gave me the invitation. Like, literally no big deal. We'll just get this cleared up. Easy, fine. So the two girls working the front little booth, they just asked us to like step to the side so other people who get their barcodes accepted will walk the red carpet. I could have walked the carpet, but I was like, no, I'm gonna wait for Megan. As we're stepping to the side, we start noticing that like other influencers and their +1s and like people in the VIP area, random people, their barcodes start getting invalid. So the group of invalid QR codes starts getting bigger. Like, it was just Megan and I, and now it's like Megan, me, this girl Ashley, her friend Sophie. One of the guy friends that we made in line, his name was Jordan, and he also like randomly got an invalid barcode, so he was in our little group to the side, and he flew from Wisconsin just for this one event. He also got personally invited by the event manager, whom we are going to name Matthew. So now it's this big group of people, and we're all waiting for Matthew because we're all like, he personally invited us. All he has to do is like look at us or see our name and be like, oh yeah, I invited you. It's okay. Like, sorry, it's just a computer glitch. Let him on through. We finally grab Matthew. I start explaining to him. I'm like advocating for the whole group. I'm like, hi, I'm Danny. There are you talk to me and my team. All of us are showing up that we have invalid barcodes, but like, we have emails back and forth from you. Like, this just isn't like a big deal. Just, you know, let us on through. I am trying to be as kind, as graceful, as forgiving as I can. And Matthew looks at me and he was like, we're at capacity. Nothing I can do for you. Time for you to leave the facility. Wait. How are you at capacity if you personally emailed me and all of these people and gave us VIP barcodes? Is this like a bait and switch? And Jordan next to me starts getting so upset. He's the one that flew from Wisconsin. I'm like, hold on, Jordan. Hold on. I got you. I'm going to vouch for everybody in this group. We're gonna get in. Like, this kind of isn't cool. So I start talking to the girls again at the front booth being like, this is just one big misunderstanding. But these girls were not letting up. They were like, sorry, whatever Matthew says goes. Ooh. So then I grab Matthew again. Homeboy is not happy to see me because I'm not letting go. I'm talking to him and I'm like, hey, again, so sorry, but like we have our barcodes, we have your email address personally inviting us. What is going on? And proceeds to tell me that because they had hit capacity, they just literally went into their computer and just started canceling people. And was like, too bad, so sad, go home. After he says that whole spiel to me and the group and gallivants away, he pulls influencers from the line without even being scanned by QR codes, brings them to the red carpet, and I overhear the two girls at the booth saying that 100 people who RSVP'd for VIP didn't show up, and their arms are full of all of the extra lanyards, and yet they want us to leave the facility. You guys, this rarely happens, but I was pissed. I turn to my super tight friend group now because we were all invalid barcodes and we've all bonded over this traumatic experience of this man yelling at us. It's not like we were doing something illegal. He invited us. This is not our mistake. I'm so sorry you hit capacity and I'm so sorry you have all these 100 extra lanyards. What? It makes no sense. First of all, the man was lying to us. Like, full out lying because, yeah, 100 people didn't show up. You should have space. I'm the only one with the VIP lanyard. I'm the only one where my QR code actually worked, but I'm not gonna leave this. Like, you're joking. And I say, you guys, we are going to get in one way or another. I'm not gonna go in alone. Like, it's either we all just bail or we all get in. We're all talking, we're trying to make a better game plan. And that's when we decided to approach this from a different angle. Go to part 2.